through it. Now that's also causing a brief backup to form on Highway 79 going south, approaching the ramp to get onto westbound I-70. And in Lake St. Louis, the westbound side is 64. That's slowing from 364 toward I-70. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 5 o'clock in the Heartland.
News, I'm Tom Graham. Vice President Kamala Harris campaigning in battleground Pennsylvania, making 2 stops in rural parts of the state today. Fox's Brian Yennis is in Wilkes-Barre.
The Harris campaign believes that if they can lessen the margin of victory in rural parts of Pennsylvania, which is the vast majority of the counties here, that can make all the difference in the race come November.
Former President Trump is fundraising in Southern California today before holding a rally in battleground Nevada tonight. Israeli forces staging a raid in Syria, claiming they've destroyed a missile factory constructed by Iran.
Officially, the target is called the Scientific Studies and Research Center. Israel believed the facility was developing medium and long-range precision weapons to be fired into Israel by Iranian proxies like Hezbollah.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. America's listening to Fox News.
You know, we don't have to wait until November to start taking our country back. Now, we can fight right now with Coin. Now, that's the Conservatives credit card. Now, you can find out a lot more about it. Go to coign.com right now. Now, instead of funneling millions and millions to the left like other credit cards, well, Coin advances conservative values, conservative causes, and charities. Now, imagine the satisfaction of earning cash back rewards while fighting the liberal agenda. Well, that is the power of Coin. Coin works everywhere that Visa is accepted. It comes with 100% U.S.-based customer service. It has consumer protections. It is a great-looking credit card you're going to take a lot of pride in using. Now, it's bright red with We the People on the front. Start shopping with America's conservative card. Apply now. COIGN.com. That's COIGN.com. And make sure you select my last name, Hannity, in the How Did You Hear About Us section. Terms apply. Just go to coin.com/disclosures for full.
Hey everybody, this is Sarge.
And this is the Burgundy.
You're on Newswatch, late edition, on News Radio KYRO.
Stay tuned. Coming up at 18 after, we'll be back with all of East Central Missouri's news of the day on Newswatch, late edition.
Missouri Net News, I'm Anthony Morabeth. A large increase in school threats in Missouri and nationwide this week have been traced back to a social media trend. Schools in the Kansas City and St. Louis areas, Marshall, Columbia, and Cape Girardeau have had safety threats this week, especially via Snapchat and TikTok. Missouri State Highway Patrol Lieutenant Eric Brown says courage to report mo.com is for anyone to report a threat anonymously.
Especially when you have younger people and they're not sure whether they should or should not, or fear, retaliation, things such as that. It gives them a level of comfort knowing that they did the right thing, reported that for it to be checked on.
Meanwhile, an arrest has been made in Central Missouri's Marshall in a threat made there. School Superintendent Caleb Pettit says kids may not realize the harm that they do online.
Kids are kids, but they have such a powerful device in their hands when they have a cell phone and the internet and these social media platforms. And many of us as children made decisions that we would regret, and I personally can't imagine having that device in my hand as a teenager.
So far, there have been no reports of schools closing in Missouri. An off-duty firefighter and paramedic from the Cape Girardeau Fire Department have been honored with the Medal of Valor for rescuing a man from a burning house. Drew Goodale was dining at a New Hamburg restaurant when a civilian came in and reported that a nearby house was on fire. Without thinking, Goodale jumped into action, running into the blazing home without any protective gear, as read by Public Safety Director Sandy Karsten.
Firefighter-paramedic Goodale pulled the man out of the burning structure and onto the porch. Goodale and the restaurant owner then moved the victim to the yard. The two provided first aid until fire and EMS personnel arrived.
An up-and-coming music artist from southwest Missouri's Springfield area won big at this year's MTV Video Music Awards. Chapel Roan was named Best New Artist during Thursday night's ceremony in New York. This is Missouri Net.
Feeling overwhelmed? Call, text, or chat 988. If you or someone you care about is struggling with thoughts of suicide, facing a mental health or substance use crisis, or if you simply need someone to listen, call, text, or chat 988. It's your direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. Call, text, or chat 988 to connect with trained crisis specialists, day or night. A message from the Missouri Department of Mental Health.
7 million children suffer from asthma, more than any other chronic disease. Most asthma attacks are caused by allergic reactions to allergens, including those left behind by cockroaches and mice. In fact, 82% of U.S. households contain mouse allergens, and cockroaches are found in up to 98% of urban homes. How can you protect your family? Find out at pestworld.org. A message from the National Pest Management Association and the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology.
On your bikes and ride as the 18th annual Lake of the Ozarks Bike Fest is this weekend. JT Girls reports.
Thousands of motorcycles are expected at the Lake of the Ozarks for the 18th annual Bike Fest event through Sunday. Organizers expect up to 125,000 motorcyclists for Bike Fest. Much of the activities are centered on the Bagnell Dam Strip in Lake Ozark. The strip will be restricted to motorcycle traffic only most of the weekend. Bikers will participate in scenic rides. There will be vendor villages, concerts, and other activities.
12 men from the Kansas City area have been indicted for their roles in a fentanyl distribution conspiracy that led to at least one death. The unsealed indictment charges them with various counts of distributing fentanyl and using firearms in drug trafficking. The 12 are accused of participating in the conspiracy since December of 2012. AAA reports that Missouri's statewide average for regular gasoline $2.92 a gallon and dropping, down 75 cents from a year ago. This is Missouri Net.
Do your trucks, tractors, or heavy equipment need repairs? Hello, I'm Aaron Lee with Advanced Machine Repair in Moscow Mills. We work on heavy equipment, agricultural equipment, skid loaders, dump trucks, road tractors, and trailers. We offer 24-hour mobile emergency roadside service. From general maintenance to heavy-duty repairs, we have you covered. For immediate service or to schedule your next repair, just visit advancedmachinerepairllc.com or check us out on Facebook.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
It was a winning day and week for the major averages, with the tech-heavy NASDAQ and S&P 500 each posting its best weekly jump since November as investors get in gear for the Fed's decision on interest rates next week. The central bank is expected to deliver the first cut to rates in more than 4 years on Wednesday. All 11 S&P 500 sectors ending in the green, shares of mega-cap tech and semiconductor companies helping drive this week's rebound rally after underperforming of late. The Dow up 297 points, the NASDAQ up 114, S&P 500 higher by 30. Shares of RH, formerly known as Restoration Hardware, jumped 25% after the home furnishings retailer delivered a strong second quarter amid an uptick in demand that accelerated this summer, even as the broader housing market remained challenging. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013, 800-444-2013, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
You know, people keep talking about how much their homeowner's insurance keeps going up and how the prices are just unbearable in these high times. Well, let me tell you what I did. I got a hold of Dave and Holly over at Safe Harbor Insurance, and they were able to save me a ton of money on my home insurance. And it's not because I cut cost, it's because they're brokers. They made it happen for me, and they saved me a ton of money. Check them out at Safe Harbor Insurance. Give them a call at 636-668-6296 and see how much money Dave and Holly can save you.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
San Francisco 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey is out of their game against the Minnesota Vikings in Week 2 because of his calf injury and Achilles tendonitis. In fact, he could be a candidate for injured reserve, according to head coach Kyle Shanahan.
Something we're considering now. Yeah, yesterday was his worst day. It's on and off, but with it yesterday having the most pain, something we're going to be discussing here the next 24 hours.
That would mean McCaffrey would miss at least the next 4 games for San Francisco and not be able to return until a matchup with the Chiefs on October 20th if he was placed on IR. The NFL, by the way, says they found no evidence the 49ers violated the league's injury report policy for how they handled McCaffrey's injury status heading into their Week 1 game against the Jets. Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker III is doubtful to face the Patriots on Sunday because of his oblique injury, while Chiefs wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown headed for IR. He will need shoulder surgery.
It's 5:10 in East Central Missouri, and you're on the Newswatch PM edition. Traffic and weather together on the 10s starts right now.
East Central Missouri's News Radio KYRO. Depend on it.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There are some minor delays out of Weldon Spring on 64 West after Route 94. Then you're crawling in toward Lake St. Louis, approaching the merge with 364. That's a little heavy in spots beyond that as you head toward I-70. Now, I-70 and towards St. Peters, you'll find bumper-to-bumper traffic from just before Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. That continues toward T.R. Hughes Boulevard, and there's a brief backup on 79 going south, approaching the ramp to get onto westbound I-70. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 63 overnight tonight. Saturday's high will be in the upper 80s, overcast clouds likely. Temperatures in the upper 80s forecast on Sunday. Currently in Troy it's 70. In Wentzville it's 70 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Award-winning severe weather coverage when it counts. 24/7 from News Radio 105.3, 1280 AM. Powered by the Quiver River Electric Cooperative, a Touchtone Energy cooperative. Depend on it.
Take advantage of Quiver River's electric co-op connections. Save on prescriptions, discounts at restaurants, hotels, shopping, and more. Register for a free Co-op Connections account. Download the app on your smartphone, and you're on your way to savings. For more on this program that gives you incredible discounts on everyday expenses, visit Quiver.com. Click on Member Resources, then select Co-op Connections. Or call 1-800-392-3709. A tip from Quiver River Electric Cooperative.
The very latest ag news from the Brownfield Network, brought to you this hour by the Wrecking Crew in Troy, Winfield, and Vandalia. Call 636-462-1720.
Soybeans and hogs were mostly lower. Corn was up. Live cattle were mixed. Hello, I'm Megan Grebner with your commodity market update on Brownfield. Signs focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition. It's why they've released more Enlist D3 lines than any other company. Stein has yield. Soybeans were mostly lower on profit taking. Beans continued to watch weather in the U.S. and South America. The trade's also been watching harvest activity. The USDA did lower production slightly with no changes to yield or harvested area. November beans down 4.5 at 10.06 1/4. January beans down 4 3/4 at 10.24 3/4. Corn was higher on short covering and technical buying. The trade continues to watch weather as rain has hit parts of the Corn Belt and could slow harvest pace. The USDA pegged corn yields higher than expected, but it did not change the balance sheets. December corn up 7 1/4 at 4.13 1/4. March corn up 6.5 at 4.31. The wheat complex was up on fund and technical buying. Global production was down in Thursday's report due to a smaller crop for the European Union. Paris milling wheat was higher, and the weather remains really dry in both Russia and eastern Ukraine. In Chicago, December wheat up 16 1/4 at 5.94 3/4. March wheat up 14 3/4 at 6.12 1/4. In Kansas City, December wheat up 16 3/4 at $6, and in Minneapolis, December wheat up 13 3/4 at 6.35 1/2. Live cattle were mixed and feeders were lower, watching the rest of the week's business develop. Feeders had additional pressure from the higher move in corn. October lives were down 37 at 177.65. December lives down a dime at 178.50. October feeders were down 62 at 239.12. Hogs were mostly lower, pressure by lower cash and wholesale business during the session. Midwest butcher hogs were steady, and the National Direct was down at midday. October lean hogs down 45 at 78.45. December lean hogs down 25 at 71.30. I'll be back with a look at closing cash numbers right after this.
Hi, it's Andrew Hoiberg from Calcium Products. Rapidly correct and maintain your soil pH with 98G pelletized limestone to protect your fertilizer investment. Applying 98G at 200 pounds per acre provides a 9.4 bushel increase on corn and a 3.1 bushel increase on soybeans. Ask your agronomist about applying 98G pelletized limestone this fall and learn more at calciumproducts.com.
Pioneer brand Z Series soybeans have farmers yielding out an additional 2.7 bushels per acre over A Series. This has everyone talking, not just farmers. Case in point, a trucking company wrote, "Morning, noon, and night, it doesn't matter. I'm hauling Z Series. The phone doesn't stop ringing. Even my home number, it never stops ringing." Well, it's fair to say Pioneer brand Z Series soybeans are making quite an impact. Unleash your greatest harvest yet at pioneer.com/new era.
Direct cash cattle trade reported Friday. Dress business was marked at $288. That's fully steady with the previous week's weighted average basis in Nebraska. This follows the light trade that took place on Thursday at mostly $181 live in the South. Fully steady with the prior week's business. Boxed beef closed lower on light demand for solid offerings. Choice down $227 at $304.91. Select closed $1.47 lower at $294.17. Estimated cattle slaughter was 118,000 head, down 5,000 on the week and down a little more than 3,000 on the year. Cash hogs closed mixed with a fairly light negotiated run. Barrows and gilts at the National Daily Direct were unchanged with a weighted average of $76. The Iowa Minnesota was 54 cents lower with a weighted average of $76.07 in the Western Corn Belt. Up 7 cents with a weighted average of $76.04. Pork values closed week down 28 cents at $93.90. Bellies, loins, butts were lower. Estimated hog slaughter was 480,000 head, down 2,000 on the week and up about 3,500 on the year. I'm Megan Grebner for Brownfield.
Godsmack is back on the road this fall. Tearing it up with special guests, Nothing More, and Flat Black featuring Jason Hook, formerly at Five Finger Death Punch. October 20th, the Family Arena. Don't miss this badass night of rock. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster. Godsmack, don't miss it.
Welcome to MegaNet. For slow internet, press 1. For indifferent customer service, press 2. For confusing pricing, press 3. For extremely long wait times, stay on the line. You are 87th in line, 85th in line, 87th in line, 85th in line, 85th in line.
Where there was frustration, now there's satisfaction.
Hello, this is Helen at Gateway Fiber. How may I help you?
Isn't it time you refreshed your internet provider? For more information, visit gatewayfiber.com.
Trust the professionals at Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions. Buying or selling, they'll make your dreams come true. Here's farm auction and acreage expert Dan Stokes.
You know, Meyer & Company's been in the business for over 40 years. We specialize in things called 1031 exchanges, so we're very versed in how to exchange farm ground for other farm ground. So it's something that we do on a daily basis, and we really enjoy doing it.
We are the #1 stop in the region for buying and selling residential, commercial, and farm real estate. We've been serving the area for more than 40 years, and we do it with pride.
It's still a pretty strong seller's market. Dollars per acre is still high. If you're able to connect with a good agent and you can find something off market, we do that all the time, and you know, we're able to still get some deals out there here and there.
Dan Stokes.
You can either call my cell phone at 314-971-0654, or you can call the brokerage at 636-462-5555.
Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-462-5555. Online at MeyerListings.com.
.72 degrees and mostly cloudy skies in east central Missouri. Good evening. You're on the News Watch Late Edition. Sarge and Tim with us in this morning. Or I meant this afternoon. Hell, I've lost complete track of time. Good evening, gentlemen.
It's Friday the 13th. I mean, we're all in a twilight zone right now.
No, that's all right. So we got to tell this story coming up about what happened in the Winfield Homecoming Parade today.
Yeah.
Sarge bore witness to this. Mm-hmm. A gross miscalculation of how much candy we had to throw out. Evidently, my son Evan, who has big hands,
yes,
was throwing out copious amounts of candy early in the parade.
At the very, very beginning, when there was like one or two kids on that one little stretch.
Well, I'll tell you what, some kid made out good.
Did he get a half a bag?
Two
like bags. That. We had two huge bags.
So anyway, yeah. So by how long of the parade was it? We ran out of candy.
It was. We got through about 3/4 of the parade, but once we got up to 47, and of course on both sides of 47, there was a bunch of people, but on the high school and the middle school side, all the kids lined up there, right?
Yeah.
And by the time we got up there,
so we ended up
had nothing.
We looked like a bunch of schmucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That was like 10 pounds of candy.
Yeah.
Good God.
Evan in his big hands.
So what do? Just hold the empty box out the window? Right. Yeah, they'll throw something back at you if you do that. Yeah, that's all those kids need are a bunch of sugary stuff and be all wound up.
It's supposed to be like Halloween, one at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
All right. It is 20 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock, and coming up, we're going to get an update of the roadways, as well as a weather update right here on News Radio, KYRO, from the Gateway Fiber Studios. We'll be back in a moment.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There are some minor delays out of Weldon Spring on 64 West after Route 94. Then you're crawling in toward Lake St. Louis, approaching the merge with 364. That's a little heavy in spots beyond that as you head toward I-70. Now, I-70 and towards St. Peters, you'll find bumper-to-bumper traffic from just before Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. That continues toward T.R. Hughes Boulevard, and there's a brief backup on 79 going south, approaching the ramp to get onto westbound I-70. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 63 overnight tonight. Saturday's high will be in the upper 80s, overcast clouds likely. Temperatures in the upper 80s forecast on Sunday. Currently in Troy it's 70. In Wentzville it's 70 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar asks, ever wonder what it would be like to live in an alternate universe? One where everything seems to work just the opposite of the way you'd expect? Well, friends, welcome to the alternate universe of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. The taste is nothing less than outrageously delicious. And Mountain Dew Zero Sugar comes in awesomely exhilarating flavors, like Original Dew Zero Sugar, Mountain Dew Spark Zero Sugar, and Mountain Dew Major Melon Zero Sugar. Try the incredible flavors of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Zero Sugar, all dew.
Blue Oyster Cult is back, live. Friday, October 4th at the Family Arena. With special guests, Tommy DiCarlo, a former lead singer of Boston, and Jason Sheff, longtime lead singer of Chicago. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office, located at the Family Arena, or at Ticketmaster. Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, don't forget to snag your tickets for BOC. That comes up October 4th at the Family Arena. And I understand coming up in the fairly near future, we'll have some tickets to give away on this very program, Sarge.
That's right. Look and listen next week, because we're going to give away a set of tickets for the First Christian Church over in Troy on Boone Street. They're going to be having a dinner, silent auction, and a regular auction on September the 28th. And we've got 2 sets of tickets that we're going to be giving away over the next couple of weeks.
Sarge, how's your head?
Oh, it's swimming still somewhat.
Really?
Yeah.
You got conked.
I did.
And now it's gone viral.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all over the place.
It's all over
I saw
the place
it on
now.
Fox News this morning.
Yeah?
No. But it was a good story. We never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
That's right. That's right.
But so tell us a little bit about what happened. Tim is one of your wrestling co-hosts, and you guys are the authority on wrestling, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you say to her to make her hit you in the side of the head with a microphone?
Well, we were getting an award that evening for having over 250 episodes now of World League Wrestling Showdown, which you can go see on World League Wrestling's YouTube channel and Facebook page. And after I was given that award, she came out, and the ring announcer, Ben Simon, got out of the ring. I told him, I'm going to do an interview with her. And so I brought up the fact of her issues that she's having with Tootie Lynn, who is the WLW Ladies Division Champion. Yeah. And she pulled the mic to her and basically said, and it's still for me, it's still kind of a fog, but
a fog,
a little bit of a fog. But she said her piece on it at first, and then she let me have the mic back somewhat, and I said,
let you have the mic?
Yeah, because she had yanked it towards her. And I was going to bring up the fact that, the WLW Ladies Champion Tootie Lynn had said during the week that she would face Skylar Sparks anytime, any place, and if the title's got to be on the line, then so be it. But before I could even get words out of my mouth after saying Tootie Lynn again, she yanked the microphone to her again, and then about 30 seconds later completely took the mic and was telling the crowd there at the Race Wrestling Arena that the ladies division, centers around her and her only.
Oh.
And then as soon as she got done talking, she turned around and conked me right in the head.
La-ti-da.
Mm-hmm.
And you
And
did.
he
you,
went
you
down
did,
like a light.
You did nothing to predicate this.
No. Nothing.
No comments. No slights.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
all I said.
Tim. Okay, I'm going to get
All right.
I'm going to get a third opinion.
all
here.
right. So sitting in the seats where I was at, Skylar comes out and she interrupts.
Mhm.
And everybody's thinking, but she walks out there, she hugs him. So
Yeah.
everybody thinks,
Yeah.
oh, there's nothing wrong.
Aw.
It was a nice little moment. She's a friend of the show. She's on the show regularly.
Well, she's been on the show.
She's been on the show more than anybody else.
I don't know if I'd have her back on the show.
Well, that's what I said.
Unless you have a bodyguard here.
Well,
which is not me.
Yeah, because you've met her before. I mean, and she has been on the show more than anybody else on Uncensored Wrestling Talk on Sunday mornings.
Right. So maybe what'll happen on one of the upcoming shows you have her as a guest, maybe the Masked Avenger will fly into the studio and take revenge on your behalf.
Well, I don't know if this is good news or bad news, but she has said on Facebook that she'll show up whenever she wants to here at the station and join in on the shows.
So she's saying she owns you. Wow.
I'm telling you.
Sarge?
That's a big wow.
You're going to have to turn in your man card.
Well, I mean, I've got the referee HD Daniels here on Sundays, plus Tim Williams, the super fan here, is here on Sundays as well. So if they can't cover my back, then we've got an issue.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man.
If she's carrying a weapon, I might be ducking.
I'm going to have to review your contract and see exactly how that covers assault and battery with a microphone. Now, that's never happened in my world.
Yeah.
It's probably come close, but man, that was something else. And if you want to see, I just put a still picture up on our Facebook page for News Radio KYRO. So if you want to see it, there it is.
And the video is up on the KYRO Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
That I went ahead and posted yesterday because we had gotten a ton of. What happened. We want to know what happened. We want to see what happened. So, World League Wrestling put it out yesterday, so I went ahead and shared it to Uncensored Wrestling Talk and KYRO's Facebook pages.
Yeah. Okay, so you can see the video, too. It's out there.
Yep.
Well,
you can see the assault.
Very interesting. All right. Well, Sarge, we're glad you're still with us, and your brain is still working to a certain extent.
Extent.
That's good. All right, you're on Newswatch Late Edition. Still kind of tracking stuff going on down in the southeastern United States. Just a smattering of rain here in east central Missouri. Not really enough to hardly make the roads wet. But if you go to the south and to the east, that's a much different story. Getting deluged right now.
Right.
Down in southern Illinois, the Boot Hill, areas like that still. And that's going to move on up through the Ohio Valley. And it represents a lot of rainfall for places like Cincinnati, Indianapolis, up to towards Pittsburgh. So if you're going east on 70 or 64 or however you're going that way, be aware that you're going to run into some rainfall pretty quick.
Yep,
so,
for sure.
And also going on, obviously, the politics still roaring. And, of course, we could spend every show on that, but I'm kind of glad we don't.
Yeah.
After a while, it gets kind of old.
Yeah, 23 hours a day, we're talking politics on this radio. So it's kind of refreshing to talk about things like Sarge getting beamed with a microphone. But we do have high school football in the air tonight, a big doubleheader. Hannibal's in town to take on Troy. And that'll should be a pretty good game. Troy undefeated right now. They're 2-0. Big win last week over O'Fallon, Illinois, a team they've never beat, by the way. And it wasn't even close.
No.
Hannibal has taken a step back from what they were last year and the year before. I would say Troy would be a favored in that game. We'll have Steve Runge coming on after the traffic and weather update at 5:40 to kind of break that ball game for us down. Today was, of course, the homecoming parade here in Winfield for the Warriors.
Yep.
And we'll be on the air immediately following the Troy-Hannibal game on this very radio station. This station right here.
This one.
Yeah, 1280.
The only one.
Yeah, 1280, 105.3 KYRO. We'll have Mark Twain. That used to be a conference game for Winfield. Before they moved to the GAC, that was an emo opponent. And once again, I believe they've got one more non-conference game left, I think, and then it's into the GAC proper.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be on the road next week over in Warrenton, Missouri, to take on the Warriors.
Yep.
Warrenton, I believe, 1-1 in the season.
1-1,
if I'm not mistaken. All right, it's 5:30 of 5:00. We've got traffic and weather on the 10s coming up, plus an update from Fox News. Stay tuned for that. 30 minutes after the hour of 5:00.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There are some minor delays out of Weldon Spring on 64 West after Route 94. Then you're crawling in toward Lake St. Louis, approaching the merge with 364. That's a little heavy in spots beyond that as you head toward I-70. Now, I-70 and towards St. Peters, you'll find bumper-to-bumper traffic from just before Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. That continues toward T.R. Hughes Boulevard, and there's a brief backup on 79 going south, approaching the ramp to get onto westbound I-70. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 63 overnight tonight. Saturday's high will be in the upper 80s, overcast clouds likely. Temperatures in the upper 80s forecast on Sunday. Currently in Troy it's 70. In Wentzville it's 70 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. Former President Donald Trump campaigning in Ranchos Palos Verdes, California, where he criticized the Biden-Harris administration for its border enforcement or lack thereof.
I come in and I look at what's happening now, and the only difference is that the border in 2016 was 1/20th what it is now. We have the worst border in the history of the world. There's never been a border like this.
Well, the former president has declined to participate in a third presidential debate after the vice president challenged him to another one. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announcing action the U.S. is taking against Russia after allegations their state media organizations are working with the European nation's military and participating in a global effort to spread misinformation.
We're imposing sanctions on 3 entities and 2 individuals for Russia's covert global influence operations, including interference in Moldova's democracy and its upcoming elections.
And again, Secretary of State Antony Blinken there. America's listening to Fox News.
You know, we don't have to wait until November to start taking our country back. Now, we can fight right now with Coin. Now, that's the Conservatives credit card. Now, you can find out a lot more about it. Go to COIGN.com right now. Now, instead of funneling millions and millions to the left like other credit cards, well, Coin advances conservative values, conservative causes, and charities. Now, imagine the satisfaction of earning cash back rewards while fighting the liberal agenda. Well, that is the power of Coin. Coin works everywhere the Visa is accepted. It comes with 100% U.S.-based customer service. It has consumer protections. It is a great-looking credit card you're going to take a lot of pride in using. Now, it's bright red with We the People on the front. Start shopping with America's conservative card. Apply now. COIGN.com. That's COIGN.com. And make sure you select my last name, Hannity, in the How Did You Hear About Us section. Terms apply. Just go to coin.com/disclosures for full details.
When you've got a plumbing emergency in Pike, Lincoln, St. Charles, or Warren County, call Frank the Plumber. 25 years experience, licensed and insured, and emergency response available. Call 636-236-2190.
Hi, this is Frank the Plumber. For all your plumbing needs, give me a call.
Call Frank the Plumber.
636-236-2190.
Legends of Country Rock with Pure Prairie League, Atlanta Rhythm Section, Richie Furay from Poco and Buffalo Springfield, and Firefall. Saturday, September 28th, the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Legends of Country Rock live.
Sarge, I am so excited about the shows coming to the Family Arena this fall.
It's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. That country rock show that we just had on a second, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Broadcasting live and in Technicolor from the Gateway Fiber Studios, we are Newswatch Late Edition. Tim and Sarge, I'm Burgundy. And looking forward to high school football tonight. Hopefully the rain stays away. I think it will.
I think it will, too.
Yeah.
It's splotchy.
It's splotchy. I don't think we're going to have any lightning or anything like this. Is basically cloud cover that is spread off to the northwest of the main body of the tropical depression, currently moving up to the mid-Mississippi Valley. Really more of a factor for the Ohio Valley now, is that kind of marches off up to the left. Okay, so anyway, we were talking before the break about your situation and what exactly is going to happen when this young lady comes into the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And she has said that she will come into the studio basically from, quoting directly, whenever she damn well pleases, and Sarge will like it. What? Somebody we need to have on the air?
Well, that is Coach.
Well,
Winfield.
Yeah, why don't you take that and get his number and tell him we'll call him right back.
I have his number.
Okay, just answer it, tell him we'll call him right back. We'll get him on the air. But anyway, so Tim, she says that she's going to come in here and do what she damn well pleases.
She's got a little bit of an attitude lately. Who knows what really sparked the whole thing, but like I said, we were watching it. He mentioned the champion's name, and she abruptly decided to take the microphone away from him, and then went. He asked her about it again, and she kind of put her hands on his shoulder, telling him, don't mention that name again, and he kind of did again, and then she went off on a real tyrant about about her being the one that controls the division, and then she turned around and decided to take a shot.
Did it.
Yeah.
Right up to the side of my head.
And from my point of view, you went down.
Oh, yeah.
And
like a sack of potatoes, I went down. Anybody would go down with a shot like that, though.
Yeah, well, it's a microphone. I mean, you're talking about a 5-pound microphone in her hand.
Yeah.
That might have a little cover on the end, but it's still going to hit you hard, and so it's not surprise, but
it's crazy.
Okay, so back on now. We have Coach Corey Elmdorf on telephone, head coach of the Winfield Warriors, their big homecoming game tonight. Coach, first and foremost, we have to take care of some business. Were there any ramifications for the radio station vehicle running out of candy before they hit the high school? Because we're really kind of scared of that right now.
Well, there's a lot of people out there. I just walked out and noticed, they got the vendors out there, and trucks and food trucks. I mean, it's pretty cool to go out there and see what's going on.
As a coach, Corey, I'm sure that sometimes you guys have to battle the distraction of homecoming. Obviously, all the kids are excited about the game and the dance and all the stuff that goes along with it. How do you deal with that?
Well, we try to make it an emphasis, in the beginning of the week that the most important thing for us is the game, and the kids got to understand that. And sometimes, kids are going to be kids. They're young, but you got to dial them in and, focus on what's important, and that's Friday night.
Watching you guys over the last 2 weeks, of course, Zumi South, the first game.
South.
Yeah, Zumi South. You guys played really well in the first half and kind of fell off a little bit in the second half. Kind of the same thing last week with Wright City. But, man, the Wildcats had one heck of a running back in that McRobert kid, didn't they?
Yeah, McRoberts is a 4-year starter for those guys, and he was a third-team all-state kid last year, and he's really athletic, and they had some other guys, but the thing with us was just giving up big plays. And
right.
We did that in the first week, and then we did it in the second week, and we just got to eliminate those big plays and keep the ball in front of us, and, that's kind of been our focus, since last week and then the week one. We just got to move on and continue to get better week in week out.
Coming up tonight, 7 o'clock tip-off. We'll have the game on the air just after the Troy-Hannibal game at 9:30. Now, what do we know about Mark Twain coming in? I know that used to be a conference game for you guys back in the day when you were in the EMO, but now that you're in the GAC, this is a non-conference game. What do we know about Mark Twain?
Well, we played him last year. We played him here week 2, and we came out on top of that game. And, they lost some kids from last year. They're decent up front. They got good size. Their kids play hard. They got a lot of kids that go both ways, and I think that's what we need to take advantage of is, trying to keep the ball on our side and run the football and kind of wear them out a little bit because I think they have 28 maybe total kids on their roster.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
Either, it's going to be a challenge, because they're going to come in, they're going to be ready to play, and they're hungry, they're 1-1. So, I feel like they're confident, and we feel confident, and I think it should be a good ball game.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to it tonight, and good luck. We know you got stuff to take care of. Thanks for joining us on the air.
Yeah, thanks for calling. We appreciate you guys' coverage, and thanks a lot, and we look forward to tonight.
All right, Coach. Once again, Winfield Warriors and Mark Twain. That game comes up at 9:30, just after the live game at 7. It is 5:40 right now in East Central Missouri.
Road traffic. There are some minor delays out of Weldon Spring on 64 West after Route 94. Then you're crawling in toward Lake St. Louis, approaching the merge with 364. That's a little heavy in spots beyond that as you head toward I-70. Now, I-70 and towards St. Peter's, you'll find bumper-to-bumper traffic from just before Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. That continues toward T.R. Hughes Boulevard, and there's a brief backup on 79 going south, approaching the ramp to get onto westbound I-70. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer and Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 63 overnight tonight. Saturday's high will be in the upper 80s, overcast clouds likely. Temperatures in the upper 80s forecast on Sunday. Currently in Troy it's 70. In Wentzville it's 70 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer and Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events. Make sure you have the right policy for each of life's wins.
Call Sandy Turner at 107B North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-528-8443.
The Roots and Boots Tour 90s Electric Throwdown with Sammy Kershaw,
that's my story.
Colin Ray,
Oh, that's my
and
story.
Aaron Tippett.
Now she ain't a Cadillac.
Saturday, November 9th at the Family Arena.
But there ain't nothing wrong with
Reserved
the
seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture Box Office, located at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster. Roots and Boots Tour 90s Electric Throwdown.
M-I-Z.
Being chased with a backside hit and sack.
S.
Who else but LB3?
T.
To the house from 77.
P.
We put our fist up. We said we're not giving in. We got an elite edge, and we're not going to be denied.
Join us Saturday. Mizzou battles Boston College. Our coverage begins at 9:45 on your home for Mizzou football. The Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Football Friday, doubleheader coming up tonight. Hannibal makes their way down Highway 61 to take on the Troy Buchanan Trojans. Immediately following, somewhere around 9:30, we'll have Game 2 on the way, which will be Mark Twain at Winfield for Winfield's homecoming. Joining us on the phone right now, News Radio KYRO Sports Director Dr. Steve Runge. Steve, what say you about tonight with Hannibals coming down from up north?
Well, it's an exciting game, and I want to thank you for the promotion to doctor. I've always wanted to be a doctor, football doctor.
I figured you did stay at a Holiday Inn once or twice, so we could bestow you. Yeah. So how do we break? There's no Aeneas Williams this year. Go ahead.
Yeah, Williams went on to Notre Dame to play football, which is good for us.
Well, I'm not so sure it's good for Notre Dame when they lose to who'd they lose to? Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois.
Yeah, that could have worked out better.
You know, I saw a post that I think was it Notre? Somebody paid the other school for that scheduled game.
Oh yeah, that's how it works.
Right?
Yeah, that's how it works. No, you get a big when you're in Northern Illinois is technically an FBS school, and by the way, they're nationally ranked now. But they play, I believe, in the CUSA conference, so they're what you call a mid-major. I mean, they're not like an FCS school, but yeah, they get a payday. You would never see Notre Dame play in DeKalb, Illinois, but you see them go over there, and yeah, they get a big payday. And I remember the best quote I ever heard back when Nebraska was really good, and when they were the black shirt defense and all that. They asked Western Illinois' coach, why did you go play Nebraska? He said, well, let me tell you, Steve, there's about 800,000 reasons we went and played Nebraska.
Yeah.
Well, how'd that work out?
It was like 75-0, but they came home with a big fat check and had a new weight room the next day. So, yeah, I guess it worked out okay.
And they got experience.
Experience. It was good experience, right? Getting run
right.
over by a Mack truck always tells you don't get run over by a Mack truck, right? So anyway, big news involving Troy Ja'Kai Lang. By the way, last weekend got significant minutes in the second half. He recorded his first collegiate sack. He got a tackle for loss and another tackle. So I mean, I guess Ja'Kai's on the page now out at Como. What do you say?
Man, I am so proud of that young man. In watching him play up through the years, and then seeing him on that gridiron out there at Thoreau Field, I mean, that really brings it home, and I think it really gives a lot of credibility to this Troy football program and some of the opportunities that are out there for some of these young players, especially some of these skilled players. So, yeah, I was really glad to see that. Good for Mizzou, good for Ja'Kai, and shoot, who knows? I mean, this kid is a sophomore.
No, he's a redshirt freshman, so that means he has a full 4 years of eligibility left.
Oh wow!
Because he didn't get on the field last year, so he's got a full 4 years of eligibility left, counting this year.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, who knows, man? Who knows? Mizzou has sent so many kids to the NFL, so many players to the NFL, and I'm sure that is what Ja'Kai Lang wants an opportunity. He wants a shot at. And I think Drakowitz would give him that opportunity. I think the talent is there. You got to keep growing, keep getting fast, and keep getting in that backfield. I mean, how about that? You get in the second half, and you get in there, make a nice play, and make a name for yourself. So good for him.
So breaking down tomorrow's game, it's a 9:45 pregame, early game, and probably the only early game Mizzou will play all year. 11:45 for the kickoff. Playing Boston College, which honestly, Boston College was not on anybody's radar before Game 1 when they upset Florida State. So they beat Florida State. Was it last week or week 1?
Week 1.
Okay, so they beat Florida State. And then last week they played Duquesne, which was like playing the Dover, Alabama Walmart third shift. So they got a game there, but they did manage to get ranked 24th. And that's good news for Missouri because number 6 plays number 24 tomorrow. Mizzou gets a pretty, if they get an impressive win on that game, that'll be considered a quality win against a ranked opponent, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, as long as it's not a game like Notre Dame had where you go in there and you get shellacked. But, hey, I want to talk about shellackings if you got a second.
Shellac away, my man. Sarge is here. He got shellacked at the wrestling match last week. I don't know if you need to go on our Facebook page and see the video. He got beat up by a female wrestler, and it was horrible. He was laying unconscious with his tongue hanging out on the canvas for like 10 minutes before they could get him up and entice him off the canvas with Pop-Tarts. He did get up though.
I'm gonna be giving stuff
is that like
the rest of my life.
Is that like one of those Vince McMahon moments where you got to laugh at yourself, so you throw yourself out there, you become the victim, and that comes with a lot of fame, Coach. I mean, if you Sarge, you stay with it, you never know. I mean, you just never know.
You just never know.
We may see him suiting up in the near future and getting in the ring. No, shellackings. Go ahead with your topic of conversation there, Steve-O, and let us know what you got.
So O'Fallon, Illinois.
Yes.
We played. Troy played them, and I looked over at Kyle, my broadcast partner, at the end of the first, and we were off the air, and I said, "Man, are we truly winning up by 19 points in the first?" And we weren't sure if it was a fluke or if this was going to happen, because it was very reminiscent of our game against Francis Howell in the playoffs a few years ago, and Troy went on to just beat the daylights out of O'Fallon, Illinois, which is a team that made Francis Howell look like a bunch of school kids. Well, they are a bunch of school kids.
Wow.
I'm a cop too. So anyway,
so it was fourth down. So it was fourth down in the seventh inning, and he got called for offsides. Go ahead.
Exactly. So it dawned on me in the fourth quarter as Troy continued to. We put our JV squad out there. We're still putting points on O'Fallon, and it dawned on me that this is a coach that you called me about. They got caught cheating last year for recruiting out of district.
No, he was an assistant. He was an assistant coach, and he's now gone. He's not there anymore.
Yeah, not the head coach, but a coach.
Right.
But regardless, the team was recruiting out of district, and I'm going to tell you, we play. I'm not going to name any schools, but I suspect there are some that we play in the near future that also do the same thing. And what a difference it makes when you have to play with the kids that you've got, as opposed to going out of your boundaries and recruiting.
And I kind of explained to you about O'Fallon and their interesting dynamic. They really never know personnel year to year, and the reason is they're Air Force. So I mean, probably 40% of their student body comes from Scott Air Force Base, and they move away in the middle of school years and things like that. Just stuff happens. So it's year to year for them. Last year they were very good. I think they went like 3 games deep in the playoffs. Our season over here was already over before the scandal broke about the recruiting deal at O'Fallon. They did have to forfeit some games over in Illinois. I'm not sure how many. I don't recall. But I said, hey, you want another win? But I guess nothing ever came of it, or if it did, we didn't hear about it.
Well, they're not the first school that has cheated, and I've been around football, and you have too, been around football forever. We played Little League football, and there's obvious cheating, and it's not only what got me when we played them, were they insanely humongous, ironically.
Yeah.
But the other thing that bothered me when we played them in the past is they would run the score up on us, and they would keep their starters on the field throughout all the way to the last whistle. And I felt like that was very unsportsmanlike. I didn't like it, and I just thought it was nice, poetic justice for Troy to go to their home field and just hand it to them. What a wonderful game. And the talent that Troy has this year is fantastic.
So you guys were over there. You and I were over there, 2 years ago when they played over in O'Fallon the last time. And you're right. It looked like the University of O'Fallon. But I recall, I think it was in the second quarter. The game was still close at that point. Troy, I forgot who it was. They broke off a touchdown run, and a kid fell in front of the running back, and he jumped over him. Then all of a sudden, penalty flags come down, whistle blows, kids in the end zone. We're celebrating, already scored. So it's illegal to jump over a player in high school football, evidently in the state of Missouri. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was Nick Bova on that carry, and Nick Bova, what a great football player he was. He went on, I think he went to McHenry. But yeah, and they also had Troy had a 35-point lead in the second half. We were looking for a running clock. Apparently, you got to have 40 points in Illinois.
Yeah, it's 40 in Illinois.
You got to be beating the pants off of both the players and the coaches before you get the running clock.
Yeah.
But I think the game was called fairly. I mean, but it was nice. And so tonight we're playing Hannibal. We were, even though they had a running back named Aeneas Williams, no relation to Aeneas Williams.
How do you know?
I know, right? The kid was good, man. The kid was fast. But I will tell you this: Hunter Humphreys is just as fast. Eulinger for Troy is just as good. This kid Grigsby has come out of nowhere. This kid is playing varsity football, and he's running a 4.6 40. And you talk about a set of wheels, man. This kid took an end-around handoff and took it to the house last week untouched. And That kid is crazy fast. So Troy's not as big as they have been in past years, but the speed, and not only that, the play calling by the coach, the offensive plays are just perfect.
So
hats off to them.
So your prediction for tonight? I'm going to ask for two predictions. I'll ask for a prediction for tonight's game between Troy and Hannibal, and I want you to give me a prediction for tomorrow's Boston College Missouri tilt. So I'm putting you on the spot, Rungy. Don't let me down. Go now. And I'm not telling you who I pick, so you can pick the opposite.
Well, obviously I'm going with Mizzou. And are you looking for a score?
Yeah, we want to score.
Okay, I'm going to say 35-12. Mizzou over Boston College.
That's pretty close.
I think it's going to be a high score. That's my opinion.
That's pretty close to what I picked. Yeah.
And so Troy has put over 100 points on offense in the last two games, and I suspect we're going to put some points on Hannibal, and I'm going to go over 30, maybe a 30-17 game, something like that with Hannibal.
Nice.
If they've got their running game back. If not, it could be another shellacking.
Yeah, and you know, that factor does come in. When they don't have a Superman on the team like Aeneas Williams, that's a 4A school playing one of the largest 6A schools in the state. Numbers do matter in high school football, but when you have an equalizer like that running back that's now running underneath touchdown Jesus out in South Bend, that is, that's something that's a game changer for you. But they don't have that anymore, do they, Steve?
No, sir, but Troy does. Troy's got three kids. Troy has a lot of weapons in the backfield, a lot of weapons. So I think Troy's going to put at least 35, 40 points on Hannibal, and we'll see how the Troy defense does. I think it'll be a good game.
So have you heard any ramifications from the Winfield Homecoming Parade incident involving Sarge and Evan earlier today? Have you heard any rumblings over on that side of the county?
That's a negative, Ghost Rider, but you never know.
Okay, so here's what happened. Yeah, evidently Sarge almost popped a capillary over this. The beginning of it started at the intermediate school, ended at the high school. Well, the biggest crowd was on Highway 47, including the entire student body of Winfield High School and grade school. And Evan was just throwing out, and we had like 10, 15 pounds of candy. It wasn't a small amount of candy. Evan was evidently just throwing like each kid 30 pieces early in the parade. And then we got just turned on to Highway 47, and I watched the videotape of this, and I heard some little kid go, "What? No candy?" And so yeah, and we had the coach on earlier today, earlier in this program actually from Winfield, and I said, "Have there been any ramifications from this?" He said, no, not that he'd heard of. So I guess we might escape this unscathed. But note to self, two things for the homecoming parades next year. Number one, don't let Evan throw the candy out. Number two, buy more candy.
Well, Evan has issues with moderation.
Yes, he does.
I took him on my boat once, and we stopped to get a snack at the gas station. And I'm thinking I soda and a little bag of chips. And I go to the counter with my soda and bag of chips. My son has his soda and bag of chips. Evan has 3 bags of those smoked sausage links, and for a total of like $75.
Yeah,
like beef jerky, those big Jack's Links bag. He's like 3 bags.
Yeah,
I'm like,
when you're on the river, or if you're at the Lake of the Ozarks, you go to the little convenience stores that are right on the docks. Leave your wallet on the boat. Don't.
Yeah.
Was he going to use it for bait?
Well, he left his.
Yeah,
he left his, man. Then we go to the restaurant, and he seriously looks at the waitress and goes, "I'm looking at the snow crab. It's the market price per pound. How much is it for like 4 pounds?" I go, "Dude, you get a cheeseburger or a hamburger."
Oh, how we love our kids, right?
Serious.
Yeah.
He was serious. I'm like, this is a freaking tax deduction right here, man.
Yeah, to give you a little background, Steve's son and my son Evan are best friends, and he probably spends as much time over at your house as he does at my house. But that was some interesting tomfoolery that I'm sure went on the boat. So did he get the 4 pounds of snow crab? And we're running out of time. No.
He got a cheeseburger.
Who was paying the bill?
Me. Give
me the market.
How much in the radio station the bill?
Give me the market price on snow. What the hell? All right. Well,
he was dead serious. Dead serious.
I believe he was. Okay, so Steve Runge, our sports director, and Kyle Skrbinski, they'll be on the air 6:45 tonight, 7 o'clock kickoff from Troy Buchanan. It is the Trojans taking on the Hannibal Pirates. And then back over here to Winfield about 9:30 tonight, where we'll have for you Winfield entertaining Mark Twain. And it is homecoming in Winfield.
That's right.
Yes. Steve, thanks, buddy.
You got it. We'll see you in a bit.
See you on the radio. Okay, so that's Steve Runge, our sports director. He and Kyle have that game for us on the air at 6:45. Guys, we're just about out of time.
Yeah.
You got 10 seconds for your closing thoughts. Tim.
Next time, duck.
And $250 million spent today by Mizzou College on their stadium renovations, and we'll talk about that on Monday.
I think it's a great idea. The SEC has been very good to Mizzou.
Yes.
And $250 million to them, that's walking around money.
That's right.
Okay. So anyway, it just keeps getting better and better and better, or more expensive. Yes, you have to mortgage a house to buy a hot dog and a beer. That's going to be it for late edition of Newswatch on News Radio KYRO. We'll be back with football at 6:45.
From the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 6 o'clock in the Heartland.
I'm John Saucier. President Biden hosting the British Prime Minister at the White House as NATO faces pressure over Ukraine's request for permission to strike inside Russia with longer-range missiles.
The United States is committed to standing with you to help Ukraine as it defends against Russia's onslaught and aggression. Clear that Putin will not prevail in this war, and the people of Ukraine will prevail.
Russian President Vladimir Putin warns if Ukraine attacks with NATO-approved long missiles, it could start a direct conflict between his country and NATO forces. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announcing action the U.S. taking against Russia after allegations their state media organizations are participating to try and spread misinformation.
We're imposing sanctions on 3 entities and 2 individuals for Russia's covert global influence operations, including interference in Moldova's democracy and its upcoming elections.
America is listening to